The DC fandom, well, there is a divide within it. There is. Is it a 50-50 split? No, it's not. Is it 70-30, 80-20? What is it? Who knows exactly what it is? I don't really know. But there is absolutely a divide within the DC fandom. So, the question is, when did this divide happen? Because so many people right now are trying to claim that it was James Gunn and Superman. So much so, and I saw this video pop up the other day. Here we go. Right here. It says, why James Gunn's Superman is splitting the fandom. Okay. I thought that was interesting. She posted a video, why James Gunn's Superman is splitting the fandom. So I watched, I didn't watch the whole thing, but I watched a bit of it. I was like, that sounds interesting. Like, I don't agree with that title, so maybe it's a clickbaity title. Let me watch it. And through it, she pretty much goes into it saying that it's James Gunn, the way he makes movies, this Superman wasn't the Superman everybody wanted. Now, she does go into it and explain, like, hey, Man of Steel wasn't what people wanted either. Hey, what they did with the DCEU wasn't what people wanted. But James Gunn this, James Gunn that, James Gunn this, James Gunn that. She doesn't really get down to the matter. But we then had, well, the video the other day where I was attacked by one of the guys from Lethal Geeks who claims in it that it is James Gunn's fault that the DC movie and franchise is failing. It's his fault and everything like that. It's because of him that it's going to fail. All that kind of stuff. Whatever it was he said. I don't remember exactly what he said, but that's basically what he was saying. And then we see it all the time on social media. Time after time, people claiming it's James Gunn, it's James Gunn, it's James Gunn. James Gunn did this, James Gunn did this, James Gunn did this. It's like, hold up a second. James Gunn and Peter Safran came into the fold at the end of 2022. This fighting, this back and forth within the fandom has been going on way before that. Way before that. So, what is the truth behind DC's fandom war? People love to rage bait. Right now, the new target is James Gunn and his Superman movie. According to some of these critics, Gunn is the guy who tore the DC fandom in half. Easy clicks, but completely false. The divide in this fandom didn't start with Gunn. Hell, it didn't even start with the Suicide Squad. If you want to understand where this war really began, you have to rewind to June 2013. See, coming off of Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy, the DC fandom was buzzing with hope. Warner Brothers had chosen Zack Snyder to reintroduce Superman, and people were excited to see what the visionary director could bring. Then, Man of Steel hit theaters. Financially, it was fine. Over $660 million worldwide is nothing to sneeze at. But reception? That's where things got messy. Superman was no longer the bright, smiling beacon of hope that defined the character for 8 decades. Snyder's Superman was brooding, conflicted, and at times downright gloomy. To some, this was fresh and modern. To others, it was a betrayal of the core character. That tension, that was the first crack in the foundation. But Warner Brothers didn't pump the brakes. They doubled down. Snyder was handed Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, which wasn't just a Superman sequel, but also a Batman movie, a Wonder Woman debut, and a setup for the Justice League. Instead of winning audiences over, the film made the divide permanent. Fans who were unsure about Man of Steel now had their answer. This wasn't their Superman. He was dour, joyless, and constantly sidelined in his own movie. Meanwhile, Snyder loyalists planted their flag. To them, this vision was bold, operatic, and misunderstood. From that moment, the fandom was split in two. And unlike Marvel fans who were busy celebrating every new entry, DC fans were already at war with each other. What followed was chaos. Snyder loyalists, who would later be dubbed Snyder Bros or Snyder cultists, defended every creative choice like it was gospel. On the other side, you had comic purists and casual fans who wanted films that felt closer to the source material. Every new DC release turned into a battlefield. Shazam, a fun comic-accurate film, was dismissed as childish. The Flash, mocked endlessly. Snyder Bros didn't just criticize, they attacked directors, writers, and executives online. They even went after filmmakers completely outside DC just for saying something they didn't like. And keep in mind, all this toxicity existed years before James Gunn or Peter Safran were anywhere near DC Studios. Then came 2020. The Snyder Cut of Justice League was announced. For Snyder loyalists, it was vindication. For casual fans, it was curiosity. And for grifters on YouTube, it was a goldmine. Suddenly, content creators were spinning tales of Snyderverse restoration. Fake scoops, false promises, and wild speculation ran rampant. Every video was designed to get clicks. Not tell the truth, but get clicks. Fans who bought into it became even more entrenched. Fans who didn't, they got louder about calling it all nonsense. Arguments escalated. The divide widened. Ray Fisher, who played Cyborg, also came forward with serious allegations about misconduct on the set of Justice League. Yes, important issues, but Snyder loyalists turned it into another weapon against Warner Brothers, mobilizing attacks on anyone who disagreed with them. From the outside looking in, the DC fandom now looked toxic and unhinged. And let's not let Warner Brothers off the hook here. Their leadership was a revolving door. Executives made promises to actors they had no real way of fulfilling. Projects were announced and even made that were killed off. There was no vision, no plan, just reactionary decision-making. That chaos gave Snyder Bros even more ammo to cry foul. But then came the Discovery merger. David Zaslav wanted to clean house. He wanted a proper studio system for DC, not random executives pulling strings. During his search for leadership, there was a power struggle within Warner Brothers, and fans were fed even more false hope. Eventually, James Gunn and Peter Safran were announced as co-CEOs. Fact is, Gunn wasn't the spark. He was just the next scapegoat. His hiring meant course corrections. It meant scraping old, broken promises. It meant finally giving DC a clean slate. But for the Snyder Bros, this was unforgivable. Instead of moving on, they doubled down on hashtag sell Zack Snyder's Justice League to Netflix, hashtag wallets closed, hashtag fire James Gunn. They thought they were fighting for the true DC vision. In reality, they're hurting the brand they claim to love and driving away the casual audience even further. So let's be crystal clear. James Gunn didn't cause this divide. His Superman movie didn't cause the divide. The fracture has been here since 2013, born out of Snyder's polarizing vision, fueled by Warner Brothers' incompetence, and kept alive by a toxic subsection of the fandom addicted to rage. The DC fandom isn't broken because of Gunn. It's broken because for over a decade, fans have been fighting each other instead of rallying around the characters. Gunn just happens to be the latest lightning rod. And if history tells us anything, once the rage baiters burn out on Gunn and Superman, they'll find a new target. Because for them, it's never about celebrating DC. It's about feeding the divide. So there it is, guys. That I wanted to read to you. I wanted to get it out there to you. I wanted you to understand. And I encourage you all to share it. If anybody wants to try and put out there that it's James Gunn who divided this fandom, or it's Superman that divided this fandom, this is it. And I don't hold back. I put the blame on the fans. I put the blame on Warner Brothers. I put the blame on the Snyder fandom as well. Like, it's all there. But none of it falls on James Gunn, Peter Safran, or the Superman movie. And it all stems way back to when Man of Steel came out. People don't want to understand that. People don't want to accept that. To me, it's just one of those crazy things that people want to just continuously change the past to fit their own narrative. And it's just, you have people like the guy that, what was his name, Costellos or whatever, who comes at me and says, you don't do your homework, you don't do your research, you don't know what you're talking, you just say stuff and blah, blah, blah. Nah, man, like, I was there, I lived through it, I know everything, I know way better than you do. This is the truth, and, like, I could keep going. Like, this is the kind of stuff that they don't want to hear or see. That's why they're attacking someone like me. That's why they're trying to put me down, because they don't want to hear this stuff. They don't want this kind of stuff getting out there, because if this gets out there, it completely destroys their narrative. And the only way this stuff continues to get out there, the only way the truth gets out there, is from help from you guys, making sure you guys, when you're in those arguments and discussions and things like that, you have the right information to give them. So that's why I do what I do. That's why I have the website and I put this kind of stuff up there. I make the videos I make because I want to make sure you guys have the right information as well.